Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. December has been a really tough month for me in terms of staying physically active and motivated to keep going to the gym as much as possible. I mean, it's been really tough. Not only is it cold outside, which makes you not want to get out of bed. It makes you want to stay warm. And in order to go to the gym, you have to get out of bed, go outside, brace the cold weather, and drive to the gym. Right? It's very such a small problem, right? But it does kind of suck to do. I'm not gonna lie. Like there are times where I'm like in bed. I'm like, dude, I'm tired. I'm warm. I'm cozy. Like I can't do it, but I do. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. There are some days where I have not gone because of that, and it's like, dang it, man, this sucks. Or it's just like it's so hard because it's like I I don't want to. It's really tough. They always say that you gain more weight during the winter than any other month. And I think it's true, honestly. I think because there's two factors. One, holidays, right? They're pretty much here. We're celebrating food, desserts, all that stuff are mounting up. And, you're not going to not eat it, right? I know I try to stay strict to my diet as best I can, but if I see like a Christmas cookie or a Christmas dessert, ice cream, I'm going to eat it. There's just nothing going to stop me. I'm going to eat it, no matter what it is. And that's been mounting, and it's kind of getting a little out of hand, I'm not going to lie. I've had a few cookies here and there when I should not be, for breakfast, lunch, and for dinner. Not good. So it's been kind of a struggle. It is kind of tough going to a gym during this time of year. I'm not going to lie, it is. I'm pretty sure, though, that once January hits, that will flip and I'll be much more motivated. Then I just got to survive December. And I got a couple things happening too. Obviously Christmas, we're going to have some nice food. I got a Secret Santa gift exchange coming up where there's going to be more food as well. Things at work that are happening, Christmas meals that we're going to be getting. It's all kind of mounting up. And the fact that there's, I'm still busy with I got to wrap gifts. I got to do a little bit more shopping still. I thought I was done. I'm not done. And it's just all this stuff, all these tasks and things I got to do. And I'm like, dang, I really don't got a whole lot of time to work out when I think about it. Like, I'm really actually kind of swamped, Not gonna lie. So it's like, I got to make time here and there just to make sure that I'm staying on track as best as I possibly can because it's getting rough out there. It's getting really rough out there. There's so many obstacles in my way to going to the gym. But when you do go, right? I went yesterday and felt incredible. I worked out for a long time. I think I almost worked out for like 2 hours weightlifting, just flat out lifting weights. Felt great, And I always love, the feel of like building strength. It feels great. It feels awesome. One of the best ways you can kind of display your strength without like flat out, showing off your muscles is like looking at your hands. My hands are kind of like dry right now and they're all calloused up because of all the weights that I lift. It's like it's like a reminder, like I'm busy. I'm trying to get strong. These aren't no weak, soft, delicate, dainty hands. I got some like really like battered up hands right now. Feels great. I kind of need that, to toughen me up. Stay strong, keep lifting weights. It feels great to do that. I haven't like truly gone super crazy. Well, I kind of do heavy, a mixture of like really heavy Well, and what I mean by like really heavy, it's like not that heavy to compared to like some dudes at the gym who like lift like so much weight. It's like, bro, how do you even do that? Like, I feel like the weight that I lift maximum, like the max like I've ever like done like a bicep curl like in one time is like maybe a 35-pound weight. That's the max, like the max weight I've done. Not that many like reps either. It was like maybe 3. You know, it's not even that much, but like I feel like I see a lot of people at the gym that are like super strong that do like 50. It's like, what? That's insane. I could probably get there, but just like I feel like 35 is gonna kill my arm. You know, my muscle's just gonna rip right off my bone at that point. You know, I see that happening. I'm like, oh, Jesus, my God. Or I see people do like the incline bench curls, but like not on a bench, like with a barbell, with like just like 2 dumbbells. The max weight I've done on that is also 35. Kind of weak, I know, but like I've seen dudes do like 80 pounds on each arm. It's like, holy crap, dude. That is so much weight. That's insane. Like, I'd be scared to do that. You know, I'm not somebody who goes with a with a wingman to the gym. I just lone wolf it. I don't go with anybody. I don't ask to be spotted. I just go by myself to the gym, right? Maybe if I was going with somebody, you know, someone was my wingman or my support, then I would try to push the weight even more quicker than I have and really go for it. But like if I don't have like a wingman with me supporting me at the gym, and you know, if I'm gonna like try to push myself, right, I'm just not gonna go that hard on the weights. I'll go hard on the repetitions, like more reps or whatever, but like I'm not gonna go super heavy on the weights because I don't want like that thing to crush my skull. You know, I don't want it to crush, like to fall on me if I have like no more energy left in the tank. I'm not gonna do that. That's just that's stupid. You know, luckily, you know, there's a lot of like videos out there of like gym fails and gym accidents. I've been going to the gym for like almost gonna be 3 years now, and I have not seen a bad gym accident. Like no like weights falling on anybody, no one misusing machines, nothing like that. Which is actually really nice because like those videos of when they happen, I mean they're funny because they're a video. Like you're watching it like not in like the actual environment of it happening, or know the person that it's happening to, so you don't really care. But you know, when you're in person, you see that happen. I would imagine it'd be a lot different than just like watching it on your phone. So I have been very well, like, I mean, I wouldn't say blessed, but I've been like very like, I guess, lucky to not have seen any of these gym accidents that happen or are caught on phone and like put on Instagram and stuff like that. I would not want to see that or be a part of that. You know, it's a lot different for me. Like, I could watch a video of 2 grizzly bears actually going at it, or like a lion killing a zebra, or a Komodo dragon eating a baby deer whole. I could watch that all day. I love that stuff. But I'm not going to watch like somebody get like their chest crushed from a barbell trying to bench. Or I saw a video that was a dude trying to max his weight on, again, a bench, and you see his pectoral tear. It's like, oh no, I don't like that at all. I hate seeing that crap. That actually makes me a little it's nauseating. I don't like watching that. Like, not really nauseating, like I'm gonna throw up, but it's like, ooh, you don't want. I don't like looking at it. It's not nice. Or somebody getting hurt severely badly, like, nah, no thanks, not interested. Now nature, like stuff like that, like a bear fighting a bear, oh heck yeah, I would love to see that. When I was a kid, I was into this show I think a lot of people were when I was young, when we were younger. It was called Deadliest Warrior, and it was on the History Channel. And I'm like, why? What's this have to do about history? Well, what they would do is they would pit through like a computer simulation and demonstrating through their weapons on like, um, dummies, and like showing off like what these historical soldiers and fighters would use. And they would, show off like, this is a Spartan sword, this is a Spartan shield, this is a Spartan spear versus like a samurai sword, or the samurai armor, or a samurai dagger. Let's say they put the Spartan versus a samurai. Actually, no, they didn't do that. I think it was a knight versus a samurai, right? So they compared each other's weapons, their armor, their tactic. Obviously, they're not going to like have one guy, be in a knight's armor, fight away the way that a knight does, and then like have a guy be in a samurai armor, fight the way the samurai do. It's not going to happen. So what they do is they display all the weapons. They show off the weapons and their capabilities and what they can do. How much, power it takes to thrust a sword into a human body with one sword versus another. What's the hacking capability with like multiple weapons? What's the trauma that a shield can do if you bash somebody with a shield? What each soldier's armor can withstand. And they run all that through a simulation many, many, many times. And then at the end of the day, they have someone actually they actually had two actors choreograph a fight on how they the majority of the fights would go down, and you would actually get to visually see a samurai versus a knight, and it was pretty cool. Like, I like that stuff. That was actually kind of cool. I guess at that point too, I also was like very interested in like animals fighting. Like, of course, like they're gonna be like in the wild, right? So like nature encounters. So like you'll kind of see, like, if you look up like animal fights on YouTube, you'll get like lion versus hyena. You'll get grizzly bear versus a pack of wolves. You'll get polar bear versus like a walrus, right? Those are like, natural occurrences in nature, right? But one time I looked up like grizzly bear versus African lion, and I'm like, I can't find anything on this. It's like, well, yeah, because it would never naturally occur in the wild. And it's like, the only way you're going to find that ever is like if you go to like some crazy country where they have like fighting rings between like wild animals. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm never going to find this. But wouldn't that be cool though? Like, well, maybe not, but like, kind of cool. Well, actually, maybe not kind of cool. They're pretty very unlike ethical, but taking ethics out of it, like, could you imagine like watching like a grizzly bear fight an African lion, like a big African lion, or like a grizzly bear fighting a Siberian tiger? Like, that would be kind of cool to see, and not gonna lie, like, that would be really awesome. I mean, it would be very not right. I mean, right? I mean, but it would be very cool to see. I mean, come on, you gotta admit that. Like, that would be awesome to watch. Or a polar bear versus a grizzly bear. How cool would that be to see? I'm pretty sure that, well, I think polar bears are native to, I'm not too sure. I'll be honest. Like, where are polar bears native to? Let me look it up too, actually. Where are polar bears found? Let's see. In the Arctic, primarily on sea, across the northern regions of Canada, Russia, Greenland, Norway, and the U.S. and Alaska. Okay, so they could sort of like come across grizzly bears. Now, I'm not too sure if there's any like documented or videographed fights between the two bears. I don't think that there is. I could look it up, but like I don't think like off the top of my head I've ever seen like an actual fight between a grizzly bear and a polar bear. But they live in similar regions, like close by regions. Like there's grizzly bears in Alaska, and it also told me that there's grizzly bears like that live like in northern polar bears that live in northern Alaska as well. So like that actually kind of leaves some room open for those two bears to encounter each other, whether they have or not is unknown. But I would imagine like they come across a few times. If I were to pick between the two, who would win in a fight? I'd probably go polar bear. Polar bears are much more, way, way, way more aggressive when it comes to meeting encounters. I heard like from the many people on nature shows and nature YouTube channels that polar bears, once they view a human being, like they're like, oh, that's my meal. Like I'm gonna eat that right now. Whereas a brown bear, right, a grizzly bear, won't necessarily view you as food. They'll probably view you as like maybe an op, maybe someone that shouldn't be there, and maybe kind of like going another way, or maybe like kind of like threaten you a little bit, but not like full on just attack you to eat you, right? I heard that polar bears are freaking vicious, dude. Like, and they're only, by the way, grizzly bears are omnivores, which means they can eat meat and they can eat vegetables, plants, berries, that kind of stuff. Whereas a polar bear is a carnivore. It only eats meat. So if a polar bear, like if I'm walking around in northern Alaska, which I don't think I ever would, honestly to God, it'd be beautiful, but I don't know if I would ever do that. If I was walking by myself in northern Alaska and a polar bear sees me, right, it's going to kill me. It's just going to kill me. We can back that up with knowledge and facts. Like that's just like that's what happens. So if I were to pick between the two in the fight, a male polar bear and a male grizzly bear, apex predators at their highest, peak in physicality. They weigh in similar weights, similar heights, both battle scarred. They've seen a lot, they've been through a lot, they've eaten a lot, they know the taste of blood, they're vicious, they're hungry. Ooh, who am I picking? Well, let's break it down, right? Let's kind of like maybe like determine who wins each category. Height wise, polar bear reaches like maximum height, I believe, is like 10 feet tall. Like, they can get pretty tall, pretty big, right? Grizzly bears, on the other hand, I think the tallest grizzly bear that they've ever seen, around like 7.5 to like 8 feet tall. I'm pretty sure. So height advantage obviously goes to polar bear. Polar bear. They're just going to be taller. More, I guess you could say more intimidating with the height. Because bears like to stand on their hind feet when they're trying to like show off force. Height. And in that case, the polar bear would win just by sheer height. It's got more height, taller than the grizzly. Weight, I'm pretty sure like brown bears, like grizzly bears, are heavier and way more sturdier and almost like tank-like compared to polar bears. Polar bears, actually are more, I think, look more athletic and are more like athletic than grizzly bears. One, they do a lot more swimming. Two, they gotta like run and like they have to run through snow all the time. They're still very, very fast. They have, usually gotta go from chugging through snow to swimming in icy seas. So like naturally polar bear is going to be more athletic and more conditioned than the grizzly bear, because the grizzly bears don't really like hang out in the snow all that much as polar bears do. They're just built different. So weight wise, in terms of like ground combat, if the battle goes to the ground and they're on the ground, who's going to win that fight? Probably going to be the grizzly bear. Probably going to outweigh the polar bear. Much more muscle on that grizzly than the polar bear. Polar bear is a lot more lean, right? The polar bear is cut. The grizzly bear is bulked. I think that the grizzly bear is just going to have a lot more. It's going to be tougher to get to the vitals of the grizzly bear than the polar bear. I think the polar bear is going to be be in terms of size and height, much more intimidating and more bloodthirsty. But I do think that the grizzly bear is going to be able to handle more of the polar bear's punches and bites and claws. And then the grizzly bear is going to be able to take more of what the polar bear throws at it. And, especially because of the claws too. The claws on the grizzly bear are much more longer than the claws on the polar bear. The polar bear is going to have bigger paws than the grizz, but the grizz has longer and sharper claws. So in a way, I think that the grizzly bear might be more battle readied with its weapons than the polar bear in terms of the combat, right? So in a strange way, man, in a way that I think that, I was talking about polar bears being more vicious, more bloodthirsty, but I think if it was between life and death, I think that grizz is going to stand its ground. I'm not going to lie. That extra weight, the sturdiness of the grizz, just stronger, right? I think it's going to outdo the size, the height, and the athleticism of the polar bear. Not to mention, the polar bear has a smaller snout and a smaller mouth. So that main weapon, being its mouth, is not as big and powerful as the grizz. So it'll all kind of come down to the first maybe minute of the fight. Whether the polar bear could outmaneuver, dodge and use its athleticism to kind of get an upper hand and throw its best punches at the grizz in the first minute of this fight. If not, that grizzly bear has the endurance to withstand a lot of stuff. And I just don't think that because of the leanness of the polar bear that it's going to have the strength and capability and the explosiveness to keep up with the grizzly bear. Because the grizzly bears are durable, they're strong, they have tremendous weight and endurance. I don't think that the polar bear has ever really had to, evolve to. They've only just kind of been the main top of the food chain in their area. Maybe they fight polar bears, but they're not gonna. I don't think that it's as vicious as grizzly bears fighting. So, in a strange way, how I was talking to myself about thinking that the polar bear was gonna win, when I brought up the grizzly bear's advantages, strengths, and just sheer brute force, right? I think it could outbeat the sheer bloodthirst and just trying to kill to eat mentality of the polar bear. I think a grizzly bear actually might take down a polar bear just because of, its durability, explosiveness, and endurance. I think it can. Strange, I would think a polar bear would be able to take down a grizz, but I don't think so. At the end of the day, I think that a polar bear doesn't really have a shot, despite the height advantage, But, I'm not a bear expert, but I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on bears. I'm not going to lie. I think that it's something that, is not really talked a whole lot about. And obviously, you're never going to see these videos on YouTube, so I just kind of had to break it down to how I would think that it would play out. What was so cool, though? Was so freaking awesome. This does not even have to do with grizzly bears fighting a polar bear, but it does involve a grizzly bear. If you've seen the movie Prey, which is not the newest Predator movie, but the second newest Predator movie, the one with the Native American girl fighting the Predator, that movie had a cool encounter. Spoiler alert. That movie had such a cool encounter with a grizzly bear versus the predator in that movie. Now, the predator is like an apex predator, right? It's like a alien being that goes to other planets to kill the top hunter or the apex predator of that land, that planet, right? And in this movie, it was so freaking cool because a grizzly bear was chasing this Native American woman. I don't know, I don't remember the name of it, but she's the main woman in the movie. And the predator sees that it's happening, and an instinct is not trying to save the woman, but it's trying to kill the grizzly bear. And the predator has a cool ability where it can camouflage and become invisible, and the grizzly bear is like caught off guard by the predator, and the predator like just starts to square up with this grizzly bear. It's so freaking cool. Like you see like the sheer force of the grizzly bear, just like, and the predator just like taking shots and shots and shots, and then at the end of the day, the predator beats up the grizzly bear. You barely see it because the predator is freaking he's invisible, but like you just see it happen. Like, oh my god, that was so freaking cool. Like it was such a small scene in the movie. Like it's not even like the main thing in the movie, not even like a main event, just like a little side fight. But it was so freaking cool. It's like, dang, why don't they do more stuff like that? That'd be so cool. Oh man, because I think it's because with guys like you and I, like we kind of like think that we could actually beat up a grizzly bear, and I mean I do. I'm not gonna lie, I would take I say like I would stand a fight against a grizzly bear, but I know I would lose. But like I would still bet on myself to beat up a grizzly bear. But it was just so cool to see that actually happen in the movie. It's like, dang, we never get scenes like that. When like a humanoid being, I know it's an alien, I know it's a predator, but like to see it go up against a grizzly bear was freaking tight. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was just something that was just so cool. Yeah. Um, Moving on to some actual, I guess, timely stuff. What do I have down? Listen, I am a huge fan of Christmas music. I really am. I think that is some of the most jolly holly music and uplifting, heartwarming music of like ever. Like it's just so cool. And I like a lot of Christmas music. I like the classics, like Deck the Halls, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. I even like some of the newer stuff like Mariah Carey. I like some Elton John, some Wham, some Paul McCartney. I like a lot of Christmas music. I like a lot. The one Christmas song that I really don't care about at all, I really don't care for, is the one in the Charlie Brown Christmas, the piano solo. I don't like that song. For some reason, like it just does not hit with me. I understand like a lot of people like it. I disagree. I think it's really terrible. I think it sounds stupid. It doesn't sound like Christmas to me, and it's kind of annoying. I really don't care for it. Now, I mentioned I like the classics, right? The ones that you can sing along to and all that, but I also really enjoy like the religious music when it comes to Christmas, like the ones you hear at Mass, like Hark the Herald Angels Sing, O Come All Ye Faithful, The First Noel, Joy to the World. Those hymns, Christmas hymns, are bangers, dude. Like they're really good. I mean, they're awesome. I challenge you, okay? If you are, this is coming out today, you still got time before Christmas to listen to some really good Christmas bangers right now, right? I'm going to give you guys some of my top ones that are Christmas hymns, right? The ones that you hear in Mass, but are a little bit updated so you can kind of like get into the groove a little bit more, maybe enjoy a little more. Maybe if you're not a fan of like monks singing, chanting Christmas hymns, and this might do it for you. Like it's the same exact song but sung by different people, okay? So here's one. And this is like if you're also a fan of rock music as well. Twisted Sister, put out a cover of "O Come All Ye Faithful" years ago, and it's a hard rock song, and it is so freaking good. It sounds a lot like "We're Not Gonna Take It," but it's "O Come All Ye Faithful." It's so good. You should give it a listen. It's really, really good. It's based off of him. It's the same exact hymn. It's just rocked. Like it's rockified. And it's really, really good. Another one is Elvis Presley's "The First Noel." Dude. Like, I'm an Elvis guy. Elvis is so cool. His music rocks. And this iteration of "The First Noel" is so good, dude. You guys gotta give it a shot. Like, "The First Noel" in general is a beautiful, beautiful song. Like it's tremendous, right? It is incredible. I love it so much. And I love it even more when you hear the Elvis cover. Like, it's beautiful, dude. You got to give it a shot. Like, that one is also really good. Another one is by Miss Mariah Carey. And I feel like it's a song that gets very, very overlooked on her one and only Christmas album. And it's "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." And it's like a 2-for-1. It's got verses of Gloria and "Hark the Herald" intertwined in the song, and it's such a beautiful rendition of "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" that it'll put a smile on your face. I'm not even kidding you, man. It's such a beautiful, beautiful rendition of the song, and it's on her Christmas album. And it's like, I feel like it's such a beautiful song, but no one ever talks about it. All they talk about is "All I Want for Christmas Is You," that song, which is a great song. Don't get me wrong, it's an original. But like, dang, dude, like the "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" by Mariah Carey. If you haven't heard it, give it a listen. I'm not kidding. It's so good. And then one more that is not a hymn, right? But it is an original song. It's kind of an older song. If you remember when The Grinch with Jim Carrey came out, way back in the day, a song released along with the movie. This is when they like collaborated and had like the movie had like an original song to it. And this song was performed by Faith Hill. She's a country singer, or was. I'm not too sure about now. But it was called "Where Are You Christmas?" Dude, that song is tremendous. "Where Are You Christmas" is such a heartwarming and loving and emotional song that is like in like my top 5 songs of Christmas. It is so freaking good. The performance of it, the passion and the care that you can hear in this song as she's performing it is so freaking good and powerful and loving, and like just like the passion in it is incredible. You can sing along to it. It's not hard to sing. Beautifully composed, beautifully performed. Lyrics, I'm not a lyric guy, but like the lyrics are freaking incredible. And the emotion that you hear from these lyrics and the music behind it is just so there. It's like, dang, this is awesome. You know, it's almost like it's just like a perfect song. It's a perfect song for Christmas, I think. So those are some songs that I think are really good. Most of them are based on hymns or are hymns, right? And not like HIMS, but HYM, you know, MM or MN. I don't know how you spell it, hymn, but it's HY for sure. Those songs are pretty freaking good. Like, give them a shot. I mean, there's some that's like you're gonna listen to them and be like, yo, this is awesome. This is actually tremendous. Moving on to a little bit of entertainment news. We got some kind of weird news coming on that, I mean, I didn't see this coming at all, but like It is in the motion and it will be happening. The Oscars, the award show that gives out the most prestigious awards for movies every year, that for the most part, at least in my opinion, have not been as worthy, because like I feel like the movies that they nominate are not the best movies that have come out, especially the ones that have won Best Picture. I mean, I've seen Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2, and none of those movies won Best Picture when they should have respectfully won Best Picture. The Oscars will be moving to YouTube in 2029, and that would mark the 101st Oscars. So they're moving from ABC to YouTube in 2029 to stream for free on YouTube. And I honestly, like, I don't really care. I mean, I'm sure a lot of older people are going to be like, where are the Oscars? What channel are the Oscars? Where can I find the Oscars? And I guess in that sense, it kind of sucks, right? Because, like, we'll be, like, essentially alienating an entire generation of where to find the Oscars. You know, I saw no real reason to put the Oscars on YouTube. I mean, it's not like they did incredible numbers in terms of viewership. Like, they've only been kind of going down and down and down for like many, many, many years. So, like, I'm not too sure what exactly or why YouTube would want the Oscars. Kind of bizarre, right? When you think about it, like, why would they want the Oscars? How come anybody would want the Oscars? The Oscars have been being panned year after year after year for many, many years now. Like, this is pathetic. The hosts suck. The categories are dumb. The nominees, like, who's even seen these movies? Like, it's been nothing but real bad news for the Oscars. The only, like, kind of good publicity news that they got, and I say that good with some air quotes, was when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in the face, which I still think is incredible as a thing to witness, to see. Like, it's incredible. It's a bad move for sure on Will Smith. Like, it's something that you should never do, but to witness on TV, tremendous, incredible. Like a monument in entertainment television, something that probably could never be topped again unless it's staged, right? Because let's be honest, if that wasn't staged, right, which I believe it was not, I believe it was fully real and intended by Will Smith, and that Chris Rock had no idea. ABC is not going to deny, hey, look at this buzz that we're getting. Look at this publicity, like all this publicity that we're getting because this guy decided to slap this other guy and defame himself and essentially put a disgrace on the Oscars and the entire Academy in general. But hey, look at the buzz. Look at the viewership. Look at everybody's talking about the Oscars. So, like, I mean, like, besides that, like, they haven't had anything going for them for a while now. Like, I'm not even exactly sure what time, well, not what time, but like, when did that even happen? I mean, it's years ago when Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock. So, like, to me, it's like, why is YouTube want the Oscars? Are they going to totally, like, change it up? Are they going to make it their own? Are they going to have, like, Mr. Beast host it along with a bunch of other YouTubers? I could see that happening. I mean, the YouTube game for the NFL, that was this season, terrible, cringe. I mean, are they going to try, like, spice it up with like more performances? Maybe because it would be like commercial free, would they allow more categories to be shown on stream instead of being off screen? Like, are they going to be able to show like the full version, like who wins like these technical awards, like all the technicality awards, like sound editing, sound mixing, visual effects, other like technical awards? Like, are they going to actually show them instead of like just having them like on the side. If they could do that, that'd be cool. But I wouldn't want like Mr. Beast hosting the Oscars. I could actually see that happening. If you guys don't know, I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Beast. I think he's incredibly weird. But I think that's what happens when you have a lot of money, right? And you have a lot of publicity and a lot of people looking at you. You become weird. And Mr. Beast is extremely weird. So I think when I see like Mr. Beast and I'm like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna make this guy the what do you call it, the first host of the Oscars, and I will hate it so much. I will hate it. And they're gonna be like, he's gonna be making a YouTube video as they're streaming the Oscars of like his little antics that he did at the Oscars. Like I could already see it happening, right? I could see him being a part of it. I can see YouTube being like, oh, let's get the Kelsey brothers involved. Or like, oh, let's get these other YouTubers, like these tech reviewers, like, they're going to present the award for like best technology in a movie. It's like, dude, this is so dumb, so stupid. I mean, it could be really, really bad. I mean, obviously, if they're going to take over the Oscars, they're going to put their spin on it. They are. They're just not going to be like, oh, yeah, ABC did it great, class and everything. We're not going to do anything to the Oscars. We're going to leave it exactly how it is. It's just going to be now streaming exclusively on YouTube. Yeah, right. That ain't going to happen. It's going to be YouTubeified. 100%. You just wait and see. Once you see Mr. Beast walk on that stage, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm in for it here. This is going to be extremely bad. But then again, that's not going to happen for another 5 years. No, 4 years. 4 years. So it'll happen. But, it's going to, it'll be, actually, it'll be 3 years. 6, 7, 8, 9, no, 4, my bad. So it'll happen. And it'll be very bad. The question is how bad? I'm not too sure. A couple of trailers leaked online in this past week. Avengers Doomsday trailer got leaked, and Spider-Man Brand New Day trailers both got leaked. I don't know why these are getting leaked. Who is leaking them? Why would they leak them? So the news is that we're supposed to be getting trailers for Avatar, not for Avatar, in Avatar, Fire and Ash, we're supposed to be getting a trailer for Avengers Doomsday, which is going to be Avengers 5, right? The newest Avengers movie, which we haven't had one in since 2019 is when Endgame came out, when it ended the Avengers. They're back, and they're going to be coming out in Avengers Doomsday next year. I want to say it's coming out in November of next year, I believe. November or December. And listen, I think that, there's going to be obviously hype around this movie because it's an Avengers movie, and I guess the public still really likes the Avengers and likes Marvel. So I guess like they are kind of like in good graces. Like, hey, our stuff is popular still. Let's put out another Avengers movie, But listen, I doubt this movie is going to be any good. Still, I don't care if it's an Avengers movie. It could still be very bad. It just seemed like it was way too rushed, way too put together way too quickly. Like, it won't even make any sense with the current MCU, right? It didn't earn anything at all. It earned nothing. Like, the Avengers movies, 1, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Endgame, they all earned their right to exist. Avengers Doomsday, I don't care what movie you've seen before, where it hints at what's going to happen in this new one, It did not earn it. It didn't earn it. It's not going to be the same. This is going to be a shoehorned in movie to boost sales and to boost the popularity, because let's face it, Marvel is dead. Dead in the water. Not even Fantastic Four saved Marvel. Not even Fantastic Four was able to save Marvel. So this is just an adrenaline shot in the heart to try to bring back a dead franchise that nobody cares about right now, to see what it's still got in the tank. And they've already brought back the Russo brothers to direct this one, to direct the next one as well, and to hope and pray that they could revive this franchise and bring it back from the dead, because nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares about Marvel right now. No one cares about them. So I doubt that the movie's going to be good. I really do. It has no stakes. It hasn't earned it. No build-up. No tension. No lore. There's nothing to this movie, as of what I can see. And I have heard that, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that people have seen the leaked trailer, and it has Chris Evans coming back as Captain America. Listen, I thought we got rid of this guy 6 years ago. What are we doing now? What is the point? You give this guy an ending that is deservable, and you bring him right back to the same crap. Same crap yet again. Don't think that this is what he wanted, what was intended, but this seems like a rescue mission of a franchise. And I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay. So that gets leaked. Brand New Day gets leaked. Didn't see that at all. Haven't seen anything of that. I heard it was on a monitor and somebody was just recording it with their phone while it played on a monitor. Now, I didn't see any of that at all. So, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's out there. I didn't look it up. I don't care. Spider-Man Brand New Day, that movie to me is much more earned, I think, than Avengers Doomsday, because at least in No Way Home, it gave you reasons to care about Tom Holland as Spider-Man and Tom Holland's Spider-Man in general. At least in my opinion, it did. I wasn't a huge fan of him in Homecoming or Far From Home, but No Way Home really hit me, and I was able to see, oh yeah, this dude is really good. This guy is good as Spider-Man. He's good as Peter Parker. I want to see more of this guy. I do. I really do. And I said this before. I think that movie really, turned my opinion from negative to positive on Tom Holland as Spider-Man. So I'm into it. I actually want to see that movie more than Avengers. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not even a big Spider-Man guy. He's not even my favorite character, but I do want to see that. That to me is much more desirable than Avengers Doomsday, just in my honest opinion. That's just what I think, right? So those were some of the big things that happened entertainment-wise. The bad news, though, was the death of Rob Reiner and his wife. Now, honestly, I never knew Rob Reiner or watched Rob Reiner's movies. I only knew Rob Reiner from The Wolf of Wall Street, his character in that movie. He's not the director, but he's just a character in it, and he's really good. He's tremendous in it. And I've seen some interviews with that guy and his family and what he's all about. Seemed like a really decent dude, and it turns out it's this whole crazy crime scene where his son was arrested and potentially could have, allegedly. Did he murder them? It's dang, this is freaking wild, man. Tragedy. Seemed like a guy that a lot of people liked. A dude that everybody respected. Was yeah, this guy's a good dude. To see that happen, it's wow, that's just crazy, And a lot of people were shocked by it. A lot of people were touched by that dude, like, he had an impact on their lives. And it's like when someone loses their life like that, that is so meaningful to all these people in Hollywood and the industry in general, to see them go like that, it's wild. It's just crazy. At the end of the year too, it's like, dang, that really does suck. That's not something that we want to see. So rest in peace, Rob Reiner and his wife. Truly a tragedy. I guess we'll find out more in the coming days on what actually happened, who was involved, and what actually did transpire and all that. All right, so moving on to some sports news to close out the week's episode. Let me see. The Knicks finally won a trophy. They won the NBA Cup. Which, let's be honest with you, this is season 4 or 5 that we've had the Emirates NBA Cup. How do we feel about the NBA Cup? Because in America, we have different sports leagues: baseball, football, basketball, right? They all play the sport in the regular season, and then they go into playoffs or the postseason, and then they play for the trophy at the end of the year, which is either the Super Bowl trophy, the World Series trophy, or the NBA Finals trophy, right? And those are like the only trophies that we give out in the major sports for the year. We have one trophy, and that's it. That's all. This is like the first major sport in America where they decided to add another trophy. And as Americans, right, we want to win the big one. In basketball, that's the NBA Finals, right? So when I look at this NBA Cup and what they're trying to do, right, I don't know if it's working. I really don't know, because sure, it should add some more, it should add more credentials to the team that wins it, right? Like, the Knicks haven't won an NBA championship in so many years, but hey, they just won the NBA Cup. Do we care about that? Does the country care that much about that? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that we're not quite there yet. It's not really catching on. I can't name you the last team that before the Knicks that won the NBA Cup. I have no idea who won it. Absolutely no idea. I can't name you last year's, the year before that. Can't do it. I know who won the NBA Finals last year. The Oklahoma City Thunder. The year before that was the Boston Celtics. I cannot name teams that won or contended for the NBA Cup. Half the time, more than half the time, I don't even know that the NBA Cup is even happening. I have no idea when it's on. I don't even know when it was on, when it was played. All I know is that the Knicks won it. Where was it on? What channel? I have no idea. Turns out it was on Prime Video? Yeah, right. You think anybody watched that? Let's be honest with you. I don't know anybody who watched the NBA Cup. Nobody. And I saw videos of the teams celebrating it. They don't look like they care about that at all. They don't look like they care about the NBA Cup whatsoever. At all. They don't care. And if you watch the videos, it's like they talk about yeah, we're really proud of the team for winning this awesome opportunity. It's like, man, you can tell that they don't care either. So it's like, what was the whole point of this whole NBA Cup thing? What was the actual point? Don't they know that we're Americans? All we care about is the one, the only title at the end of the year. That's all we care about. This whole mid-season crap, it ain't for us. It ain't for us, bro. Like, I don't know. Maybe they got to make it a little bit, put a little bit more stakes into it. Maybe they got to market it better. Maybe they got to advertise it more. Maybe they got to put it more on local channels. But, like, to have the final, the NBA Cup final, the Emirates NBA Cup final, they got to make it matter more. And that's not by putting it on Prime Video. Right? That's where Thursday Night Football belongs. Prime Video. You don't put the NBA Cup on Prime Video. Come on, let's be real. So the NBA Cup, totally undermined, in my opinion. Totally a secondary thought, maybe a third thought when you think about major sports trophies. Like, no one cares. Nobody cares about the NBA Cup. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry. Nobody cares, and nobody probably should care. Right now, at least. You can get better. You can get more eyes. Just not on Prime Video. Okay? That's where I watch Reacher. That's where I watch Thursday Night Football. Okay? I don't care about the NBA Cup on Prime Video. I just don't. And I don't think and many people do. So we got to work on that, NBA. We really do. Joe Burrow is very sad, people. Joe Burrow is extremely sad. Like, I saw last week interviews just a few days ago about him just being sad on that, being on the Bengals and being defeated, deflated. And I'm like, I get it, dude. Joe Burrow's got to do everything on that team for them to even have a chance to win. And even if he does do everything he possibly can do, they still lose every single freaking game. I remember 4 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. They were playing against us. We beat them, but they never have gotten back there. They haven't gotten close. Not even that close. These past 2 or 3 years, they've been so disappointing. And Joe Burrow is 29 years old, by the way. He's not that young. I feel like his career is being wasted in Cincinnati. Like, it totally is. They have good offense, good weapons, good receivers, great receivers. They have great quarterback, great tight end, pretty decent running game, but they just can't win games. Like, at some point, you got to look at yourself and be like, what is the issue here? What is the real cause of this problem? It looks like just like the ownership of the team. The ownership, the management, the personnel, like, it's just nothing but losing. They lose after week after week after week. They just lose every game. It takes a toll on a man. That much losing takes a real toll on a man, especially on a man who cares. So he looked very, 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 very sad. Now, I was thinking to myself, like, if the Rams win the Super Bowl this year, let's say Matthew Stafford, how much I love Matthew Stafford. Let's say he decides to retire after this season. We win the Super Bowl. He decides to retire. I better expect the Rams to make a big push to get Joe Burrow to Los Angeles. That would be incredible. Joe Burrow under Sean McVay with Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Colby Parkinson, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. I mean, like, oh my God, I just get I just get so excited to see that. That would be incredible. I would love to get Burrow on the Rams, dude. Oh my gosh, that'd be insane. There's nothing that I would want more, I think, than to have Joe Burrow on my Rams. That would be so incredible. I want that more than anything right now. Like, I'm trying to manifest that to happen. Like, I understand that Matthew Stafford is playing incredible football, right? But yeah, at the same time, you gotta look at it as like a business, right? And you just gotta kind of see, like, dang, like, Matthew Stafford for this year is our guy, 100%. But we gotta look forward. Into the future. How do we keep this sustainable? How do we keep this team still competitive? How do we keep it in the Super Bowl contention? I think that if we don't draft a first-round quarterback, like a really true first-rounder that we see high potential in, probably not this year, probably not next year, but the year after that maybe. If that's not our plan, and we decide to move on from Matthew Stafford, I think we have to 100% go in for Joe Burrow. We have to go in for Joe Burrow. Like, he's 29. I know he's not super young, but like, we can get like another solid 5 years out of this dude, potentially. Solid 5 years that we could capitalize and get this guy a Super Bowl ring that he has not gotten yet. Imagine Joe Burrow in Los Angeles, dude. So cool. So freaking cool. And then lastly, quarterbacks are getting benched. Quarterbacks that we thought would be starters the entire year are getting benched. Justin Fields, benched in the Jets. Not because of injury, but because of quality. Right? Kyler Murray, benched at the Cardinals. Why? Was injured at first, and now they realize that this ain't the dude. And now, just recently, Tua Tagovailoa benched in Miami, not injured, in favor of Quinn Ewers. Like, this is crazy. Like, what is happening? Are quarterbacks just not caring? Coaching staff not coaching them? Like, what the heck? Like, these are sure guys that we all thought were going to be long starters in the NFL. They were for a good amount of time, but not this long. I expected Tua, Kyler, Justin to be like quarterbacks to the future for like the next like a good 10 years. These guys were going to be developed and, become good quarterbacks, and that has not been the case this year. This case, we saw them come in with, high expectations and done nothing but poorly, terribly actually, and so far benched, all three of them. It's insane. What's going on? Right? Are they in the process of getting somebody else? Are they thinking like long term, like what are we going to do with this person? Is he the right guy? Is he the future? And why do they take this long to bench them? And then like what's their outlook for the next year? There's a lot going on, man. A lot going on, and like I don't know exactly what their plan is. Do they restart? Do they trade them? Like, these were all guys, I believe, that were chosen in the first round or second round in their respected drafts. Kyler Murray was the number one pick, I believe. Tua was maybe first or second. And I want to say that Justin was also a first round pick. So I don't know what's going on, man. Maybe these guys are just not good. Maybe they're not in the right system. Maybe they haven't been put in the right position to succeed. But whatever it is, it's not looking good for these guys at all. You scratch your head and you're like, why? But then again, it's like the Cardinals were winning with Jacoby Brissett, or at least playing better with Jacoby Brissett. The Giants or the Jets I haven't really paid attention to. And the Dolphins, this will be their first week with a new quarterback at the helm. Tua has just not been that guy. Whether it's Tua, Mike McDaniel, I got no idea. But I assure you that he is not happy with that decision at all. And there might be like a legit fallout between those two in Miami. Crazy. And then Philip Rivers, he played. Yeah, he played for the Colts, started and played that game against the Seahawks. The Seahawks won, but man, it was cool to see Philip Rivers back. Even though it's he got, he was clearly a little bit slower than I imagined, not as sharp with the ball, kind of wobbly spiral, but still really cool to see him go out there. It was really cool. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty cool to see that guy go back out there and play football. All right, that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.